Hello again. This is a revision video for the A-Level English Language Component 2 Language Change Question 1C. And the fundamental thing about this question is that it is an analysis of grammatical change. So you need to revise your grammar. So if you haven't got one of these sheets from your teacher, you need to get hold of a copy. It doesn't, again, like the spelling features list, it doesn't name everything you might possibly be asked, but it gets you into the pattern of looking for these kind of features in the language change text that you're going to be presented with. So, for example, it will ask you to look for different word order, or use of different prepositions, or the use of subordinate clauses in complex sentence structures. So get yourself a copy of that if you haven't got one already and start revising this terminology. So we're going to have a look at an example of a question and we'll look at the key fundamental features of the question. So it tells you in the question to describe the form and the archaic grammatical features of the following examples using appropriate terminology. So you've got to know your terminology. In this case, you're talking about phrases, clauses, as well as word classes. So if we have a look at the first example, you'll see God's just judgment. For a start, you'll notice that it's a noun phrase with judgment being the noun and the pre-modifiers God's just. Yeah, so belonging to God and the adjective just to describe the noun judgment. Now, you will probably also have noticed the apostrophe to indicate possession is missing. And pretty much that's what you say. So, in the pre-modified noun phrase God's just judgment, the apostrophe to indicate possession that the judgment is of or by God is missing. And that's your 2 marks for that question. Okay, let's have a look at the second one. You'll see 5 year, and the big danger here is that you talk about spelling, but because it's question 1C, there is no discussion of spelling, so no discussion. Don't talk about this, don't talk about this diphthong, don't talk about final E. You're talking about grammar. And again, compare it to modern English. 5 year, you could say that in dialect, but generally speaking we would say 5 years in standard English. So we would need a plural suffix inflection to tell us that the noun here is pluralised. 2 marks if you discuss that. Okay, and finally, and one that you will be familiar with because you've probably looked quite a lot at word order, and in particular the dummy auxiliary. It's one to look for. So here, the negative form he knew not. Yeah, not is negative, and that negative is formed differently. You have the main verb knew moves from the middle to the end of the phrase. The past tense is indicated by the dummy auxiliary form did, the form of the verb do. So the past tense is indicated by the dummy, not by the main verb. Yeah, and did is inserted before the negative to indicate that. So again, here you could say, in present day English we would use the dummy auxiliary form, and we would change the word order of the sentence. Okay, so basically it's about discussing each text in a little bit of detail, but not exhaustive detail. Okay, if you want to revise this, you've got an early modern English grammar sheet. You've got all your texts in all your data that you can use, particularly your scrapbooks, and also all the materials that we provided. And the main thing in this is just lots and lots of revision of picking out any unusual word order or unusual phrasing or unusual syntax, and just doing lots and lots of practice of it.